Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's BBQ Joints. In this episode, I get a chance to bring you my interview with Natalie Ramsey and Chad Webb from Red Bridges BBQ in Shelby, North Carolina. The restaurant itself has been around for 72 years, but at the Shelby location for 66 years, which is a really good amount of time. They are the grandchildren. They run this restaurant with their mom. It's so cool. These are the kind of stories that I want to bring you and that I will continue to bring you. It's families that have owned barbecue joints and barbecue joints that have been around for a long time and doing it the same way year after year. It's so interesting to hear how they make their food. They use wood for everything. It's wood fire. They got to clean out the pits every 16 years, rebuild the pits actually every 16 years to reinforce them. The fire brick. We get into that. We get into what the location's all about and what it means to their family and how they keep those traditions alive and those flavors alive and the coleslaw and everything else. I know you're going to really enjoy this and you're going to want to visit them and check out their pits, and I'm really, really excited to visit. I can't thank them enough for taking the time. Enjoy. And as always, this episode is brought to you by The Smoke Sheet. The Smoke Sheet is a barbecue newsletter which arrives magically every Wednesday to your email box. You're going to dig this. This was created by Ryan Cooper, who is BBQ Tourist, and Sean Ledwig, who is NYC BBQ. The two of them joined forces to bring you information, and tons of it. This thing is chock full of original content and news and tons of news about barbecue joints that are opening and closing, and pit masters, or where they're moving, or if they're opening a second location, or exciting things within the barbecue world, as well as barbecue events that are happening in the next month or 2 months. And then you can check out their archives at bbqnewsletter.com and see all the old events. And like I'm doing right now, like putting together a calendar so that way I don't miss out on things next year, because I've missed out on so many. So this gives you a chance to check out those events and not miss out, as well as a barbecue recipe, which is a darn good recipe, really good recipe, a weekly recipe, not always what you expect. So it's cool. It's definitely something you'll check out. Also, information on new barbecue podcasts, new barbecue stuff on YouTube or Vimeo. And that's chock full of information. I've been on board since day one, and I've told tons and tons of people to sign up, and they've all been super appreciative. It is available at bbqnewsletter.com. That's bbqnewsletter.com. The Smoke Sheet is barbecue news worth consuming. And if you're digging these, please subscribe. That way you don't miss out. You can subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got some really cool stuff coming up. Got some really cool back stuff that you could check out. The YouTube channel, if you're just listening to this podcast, is youtube.com/Kevin's BBQ Joints. You can see a lot of these, as well as tours of butcher shops, tours of barbecue joints, sausage making facilities, lots of cool stuff. But leave me a message, DM me, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. I love interacting and learning more about what you guys are digging and what you guys are liking. And also, if there's anybody that I'm missing out, let me know. But I do thank you so much for listening. Enjoy this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing today? What's a usual day for you guys?
I come in the mornings and make sure everything's going right. All the employees are here. And what I'll usually do is sometimes I got to cut slaw early in the mornings. So I'll come pretty early, and whether I got to cut slaw or not, I'll make sure all the employees are here and everything's going right.
And doing their job.
Yeah, with this building being built in 1953, we got constant problems. So I have to check stuff every morning. So then I usually leave, go to the gym, and then come back to work all day. So
No, but I can imagine, yeah, with an old building. What was the building before you guys took it over?
We started in 1946.
Mhm.
My grandfather, he came back from the Army, and he wanted to open a barbecue joint. So that's what he did. Everybody told him he was crazy, that he'd never make it. And look at us now, 72 years later, we're still here and kicking.
That's crazy. Did he grow up cooking barbecue for people, or was it like giant family picnics or things like that?
no, he just he cooked in the Army, and he loved that. And when he come home from the Army, my grandmother was working at the textile mills.
Okay.
And my grandmother actually asked her boss, she said, "We're fixing to open a barbecue place, and you want to go halfers in with us?" And I remember my grandmother told me this so many times. And that woman said, "No, you'll never make it. The money's in textiles and this and that." And long story short, now the textile's been closed a long time, and we're still open.
Oh, I know, and I can imagine that. I used to go to High Point, North Carolina, twice a year back in a past life when my dad was alive. He was fourth generation furniture salesman, and so we'd come to High Point, and it seemed like all those factories were closing in that area, and like a lot of the factories in North Carolina closed in general, which is sad.
It is very sad.
What's really good about our first location is it was Dedmond's livestock auction.
Oh, okay.
And when they first bought it, it was Dedmond's barbecue, and they bought it, and the first place at the livestock auction, it had sawdust floors in a restaurant.
Oh,
that was super cool. I
that's
thought
so cool. I love that.
passed now. I mean, that was really cool to know that. And then we've had a couple other places like there's Arnold's Jewelry Store uptown now, and that's where one of our restaurants used to be. And then we come here in 1953, and like we were the first restaurant to ever serve a bottle of Sundrop.
Really?
And yeah, one of the first restaurants to have air conditioning in Shelby. And of course, this was 53 now, though. Back in 53, 74 was the middle of nowhere. I mean, it wasn't a well-traveled highway. I mean, it was in the woods. It was back in the country.
How much business was he getting?
I mean, I'm not sure back then. I mean, I'm sure it was pretty good because my grandmother and grandfather always made out very, very well and lived very comfortable. I mean, I'm sure it had to be good because they never struggled. And they always paid the bills. So.
Wow. So that's great. I wonder if it was a lot of local business. There must have been like a certain type of business that was coming through that was working.
I think back in the day, they made most of their money off the caterings.
Okay.
Like they would do caterings, and they would do day and a half caterings where they would feed 3 different shifts, and it would be 3 12-hour shifts at the textile mills.
Oh.
So, yeah, they would feed, it'd work 12 hours, feed those people, or feed the next 12-hour shift, and then the third 12-hour shift. So they'd work a day and a half without even taking a break.
Were they mostly making sandwiches for them?
Oh, no, they come and got plates. They had a big buffet back in the day. Yeah.
Oh.
It is so neat because we have a lot of pictures, and they called it feeds back then.
Feeds?
And just lots of, feeds. And it's just so neat to see because they were huge, and it was really neat to look at that, the difference.
They don't really have, I guess they kind of have that, I guess, when people cater like a specific, like a business, but it's never probably to that capacity. Was the name always Red Bridges or Bridges BBQ?
It's always been Red Bridges, but somehow it started getting to be Bridges BBQ. And when my grandmother passed away about 10 years ago, she looked at me and she said, I wish we would have really kept the red in there. So when she told me that, I was done. So I brought it right back. So everything I changed to Red Bridges BBQ.
Oh, that's so great.
Because that was my grandfather's name.
Oh, that's how it was. Did you guys grow up in the restaurant? I'm sure you did a lot of work in but did you guys leave and come back, or were you always destined for this?
Well, I always said I was going to go somewhere and do something different. And I went and left twice, and I was back within 6 months both times because I missed it. It's just where my heart is.
I know, for sure.
I never left. I went to college for about 6 months, and I started a class, and I finished it, and that wasn't for me at all. And I've raced all my life, so my mom let me race when I was younger, and we've traveled to the United States and stuff racing. I enjoyed that, but I knew I was going to be in here working. I mean, this is what I planned for. They taught me how to cook barbecue. I don't know if it was right before I turned 15 years old. And he taught me, the guy that was here about 30 years, his name was Phil. He's one of the best pit masters we ever had. And he taught me how to cook the old school, the correct way. And I mean, that's pretty much when I started. And then when I was 16, I started making all the slaw, and they taught me how to make the sauce also. And but I didn't never really done the sauce too much, but I made slaw. I've made slaw since I was 16 years old. I mean, I've been the only one to do it, and I'm fixing to turn 34. So.
Oh wow, that's a right amount of time to get slaw.
And we sell about 150 to 200 gallons a week, depending on whether it's summertime, wintertime, and how much we got going on. So I've made a ton of slaw.
But he doesn't eat it.
What's
he
that?
doesn't like it.
You don't like it?
He doesn't like the slaw.
You're joking.
No. It's
So it's
always
always
exactly. The only time it'll be different is like in the wintertime, your cabbage has got a lot tighter core, and we leave the core inside of it so it's hotter. And people swear we got horseradish in there, but it's not horseradish. I'm like, they argue with me. I'm like, sir, I make it. There's no horseradish.
I've been making this for decades.
Yeah, but I never taste it, so I do exactly the same ingredients, and it's exactly the same. Same thing with the sauce. All that stuff is exactly measured out to the same ingredient and put all in there. So the only way it changes is if, like, the humidity or the weather will mess with the sauce cooking just a little bit. And same thing with a barbecue. I mean, it affects how you cook when it's 90 degrees outside versus 30.
That's a good thing about us because we still pit cook our barbecue. And a lot of people have gone to gas, but that's, that's just something that we've always done and we continue as long as we'll be here to pit cook our meat because it's so good.
That's a big reason why I want to reach out. And I know I talked to John Shelton Reed about you guys. And now, who built the pits? Was that your grandfather?
Well, it's burned down 3 times. So actually, was it about probably 7 years ago? We had to redo the whole pit because we had a really bad fire. But thank goodness for the firewalls, it stopped in the pit, but it destroyed everything, and we had to rebuild them.
They built the pits back when they built a restaurant in '53, and I lied. They added on and built those pits in the late '60s, and we've kept them the exact same size. But about every 15 to 20 years, we rebuild them with fire brick. But we'll do the exact same size. And then about every 5 years, we have to put new grates in them because it gets so hot in there. Wow. But they're the exact same size as everything that my grandfather originally built. And like I said, about 15 or 20 years, we have to just rebuild them because the fire brick are just crumbling apart.
Because of the heat.
Yes, sir.
Because it's hot.
Yeah, and then we'll be cooking at night a lot of times, and we got a little hallway. And the pits are on the other side of the brick right here, and where it's cracked, sometimes you can see the smoke coming out of the cracks and stuff. It's cool, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to visit.
Simple. It's very simple the way we cook, but it works so well. But it's super simple.
So is it super simple as in like seasoning wise? You just like salt and pepper?
We don't use anything.
We cut them straight. We cut them straight out of the cryovac, stick them on there. And what we'll do is we take our French fry boxes and we cook them skin side up first. Then we'll take the French fry boxes, lay it over top of them. And that way the smoke settles on them the whole time and it doesn't simmer on top up high. And we'll cook them about anywhere from 3.5 to 5 hours, depending on how many shoulders we got in there. And then we'll flip them, put the cardboard back on top of that side, and the second half of the cooking will be with the skin down. That way you sear the bottom side on the first cooking. That way, when you flip it, the skin holds all the juices and stuff in, keeps it good and moist.
I appreciate that. I think that a lot of times people over season or.
They really do.
This soup, like I said, ours is super easy. We've always used Smithfield as long as I can date back. I mean, they may have used something in the early 50s and 60s that I honestly didn't even know about or something, but we used Smithfield the whole time. And even when the Chinese bought the Smithfield, of course, we want to support American.
Of course.
What we can support, but we've used Smithfield for so long that we can't change it. We don't want to change anything.
People are using Smithfield across the United States. It's still people consider it an American company, even though it was purchased by.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that are watching this or listening to this may have never been to North Carolina. When I first went to North Carolina, it was like ordering at a barbecue joint was different than ordering at your local place across the country. How do you guys offer? How many different ways do you offer the pork?
Well, we got a meat cutter back there, and he stays back on the block all day long while we're open. So if you come in and you want sliced white, you tell him. If you want sliced brown, you want coarse chop brown, you want chopped fine with some brown. However you want it. The only way we don't do it is pulled, pretty much.
Okay.
So it just destroys all the good pickings and stuff, and which chopped is really close to pulled, but like any way you want it cut, they'll do it pretty much, yeah.
And so people that might not know what brown is, how brown is?
If somebody comes in and they say they want brown, we know they know their barbecue.
It's
but
true.
That's just where the flavor's at. The brown is absolutely where the flavor's
at. It's the outside of the shell that gets good and crunchy and it's got all that flavor in it. God, boy, you ought to eat it fresh off the pit when it's done.
What makes me happy is that you've had it for all these years and you're still getting excited about it.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
Well, people always say, I know you're sick and tired of barbecue, but every day we're open. I mean, we're back there constantly eating it all day because we have to make sure it's not dry, it's fresh. I mean, I have to eat the hush puppies all day because I mean our mix is made fresh 3 to 4 times a day. I mean we don't use no bought mix. That's one thing we have that's super amazing. The hush puppies too.
Yeah, they're great.
And hush puppies too are unique. I don't know if you guys realize how unique it is to North Carolina or to the North and South Carolina. Like it's just so. The first time I had a hush puppy, it was such an epiphany. I'm like, oh, this is so delicious.
Yeah, we have so many people that come in and say, "What is hush puppies?"
Yeah, what is that?
And I said, "Honey, here," and I just bring them a big basket full and said, "Enjoy." And everybody loves them.
So if you're getting like a classic plate from you guys would be
Well, the plate comes with barbecue, slaw, fries, beans, and hush puppies.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then the tray is the barbecue, slaw, and hush puppies.
Oh, that's the tray. Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing we recently, about 15 years ago, we always done lettuce and tomato and mayonnaise on the plates. And we quit doing that and we went to baked beans instead.
Because we had a request for beans, a lot of beans.
Yeah, a lot more people eat the baked beans than they want the lettuce and tomato. But we have a lot of old schools customers that come in here that's
still want it the old way.
Like we want an old plate. We know what they mean.
And so how would you eat with lettuce and tomato? Do you have bread that you would eat with it, or how do they do it?
They just would eat it like a salad.
Yeah, they'd put it in an actual little on the plate by itself, and they put the lettuce on the bottom, put a tomato on top, and squirt mayonnaise on top of the tomato.
And just you'll eat that as a separate salad
As a side, yeah.
No pork on top of that.
No, country people are a little different.
I know. I
I'll tell you one thing. I begged my mama for about a year and a half to do. I was like, Mom, let's do barbecue nachos, and she wouldn't do it. Well, finally, she seen them out one day. She's like, why don't we do this? And I was like, really, Mom?
For all these years.
So we put barbecue nachos on the menu probably about 6-8 months ago.
No, I say longer than that. It's been about over a year.
About a year anyway.
And they are great.
They sell really good, and then we can chop the chicken up and put that on the nachos also. So
we'll do cooking the chicken in the same pits.
No. Well, we'll cook those in a actually different cooker. Yeah, we don't want to mix the chicken with the meat with the barbecue just because the securities and stuff on it. We don't want nobody getting sick or nothing like that.
Yeah, that's true. With chicken, it's a little bit more.
We just put it by itself. But the nachos and stuff are selling good because we'll put jalapeno, sour cream, and a few other things on there depending whether they want chives and all that stuff.
So behind you, Natalie, is that the restaurant? And am I seeing that the blue?
Hold on one second. What are you saying?
Yeah,
up top right here.
That's my cameras.
The camera of the restaurant. No, the other one.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if people are watching this, they could see a little bit of the restaurant right there, right?
Look, and I'll show you something else that's really cool. This was my grandmother and grandfather at the very first restaurant. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
This gentleman right here, his name was John Henry. He actually just died about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years.
Oh, man.
But he worked with us until 2015.
Oh, my Lord.
And he was working there when my grandmother and grandfather bought the business in 1946. And he still worked with us till 2015.
That's amazing.
And that's my grandmother right here.
Oh, that's a great photo. Oh, such a great photo.
And over here, this is when it was Dedmond's barbecue. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, look at that. Look how young they are.
That's when they bought it right there.
Oh, that's so great. And you know what's funny, too, is like, look how dressed up in that other photo, how everyone's so dressed up. Like ties.
Yeah.
And that's my grandfather.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I think I've seen that photo
before.
We've got
history everywhere in here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, pretty cool. And we got a picture up front, and it's you mind if I walk you up there and show you real quick?
Please, yeah, go ahead. Perfect.
Okay. I hope you don't get signal.
Anyway, it's from the 50s, and it was took. I'm not sure what year it was taken, but one of the customers that comes in here and he still has one of the cars from this picture right here, and he brought it up here about 6 or 8 months. Just really want to show you that picture.
No, I got it. It's cool. I'm going to add it to it. That's great.
That's the restaurant we're still in.
Oh, that's the one okay.
That was the one built in 1953, and it's exactly the same, except we closed back then we had curb hop, and right beside our register now, the old curb hop window's still there, just where we blocked it off. And but that's the exact same restaurant. The only difference is they took out our island, and 74 come a lot closer to our restaurant.
So they had curb hop for that must have been interesting.
Yeah, it
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
was. And there's so many customers that come in saying, I used to be a curb hop here back in such and such. I worked for your grandmother. I knew your grandfather.
A really cool story is we've got these huge oak trees outside that surround the barbecue. Well, they're tearing up
The parking lot, the
the parking
roots were
lot.
destroying
I
the
mean, it's
parking lot.
destroying the parking lot. So we had looked into having them taken up because,
Mhm.
I mean, it's destroying. We had customers lose it. They said, I got my first kiss under that tree. I
Oh,
got engaged under that tree. And so we just have to let it be because we had so many upset customers. But it's really destroying the parking lot. But hey, those memories are worth it.
the root
Mm-hmm.
system, I'm sure, pulling up all the pavement.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though. That's really neat that you guys are such a part of people's history and people's
Yeah.
upbringing. And too, like it means something to them. And there's people that come that are new customers, but the people that have been there forever.
Right.
And that's why I'm sure that's why you guys don't change the recipe at all either.
Exactly right. Yeah, some of the people have been here my whole life that still are working here. So I think that's pretty cool.
So what are your hours?
We are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, and we are open Wednesday through Saturday from 11 to 8, and then 11 to 4 on Sunday.
That's unique that you guys are open on Sunday. That's nice as an option.
That's a big day. We have a really big day.
That's our biggest lunch for sure.
But it was tough whenever I go to travel to North Carolina. I'd fly in on Sunday morning, and then I'd have nowhere I could go to eat.
One thing, like I'll work, I change the grease and cut the slaw and do a lot of my work on Monday and Tuesday. Like our old cooler inside the building was put in the building in '53, and the door was sagging about to fall off, so I had to take the door. I worked on the door about 5 hours yesterday, in other words. And like when I'm here, I had all my tools on the back of the truck and I had all kind of stuff. So I just propped the door open. And man, I got cussed out twice yesterday because we wasn't open. I was like, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't help we're not open.
Yeah, people get really upset.
But they'll come by and I'll be outside pressure washing the mats or something. And they'll be like, what kind of restaurant isn't open on Monday or Tuesday? I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all.
A lot of restaurants aren't open Monday. Monday for sure.
Well, Monday, yeah, a lot of, I don't know. And then like Sunday, well, we were open till 8 o'clock on Sunday until about
3 years ago. 3 or 4.
3 or 4 years ago. And we started closing at 4. Number one is Mother's Day, Father's Day, all the holidays, the employees and us could go home, spend some time with the family.
And I have 2 little boys. I love to get home.
Yeah. But not only that, that was our last day of work for the week. So it cut down overtime a lot. So it saved us a lot of money.
True.
And that was our slowest part of the week, was from 4 or well, probably 3 to 8 on Sunday. We just started closing at 4 and it helped everybody out altogether.
Yeah, and people can get there by 3 and get a chance to, or to get food to go. That could.
Yeah.
How many shoulders you guys cooking in a week or in a day, like in a busy day?
Well, we have about probably for around 200 a week is typical. You know, if it's a big week, it can be a lot more than that. If it's a slow week, it can be less than that. But that's about what we vary per week.
Like on Saturdays, though, we cook 60 and we'll sell 60. And sometimes we'll sell out 5:30, 6 o'clock. Sometimes we'll shut the door at 8 and still have 8 or 10 left. So,
but that's the whole thing. We want them to be fresh every day.
Yeah, and a lot of people's like, how does a barbecue place run out of barbecue? We cook it fresh every day.
And we can't put any more shoulders on the pit unless it'll hold it. So, you know.
And what's funny too is that's across the United States. Barbecue joints barbecue restaurants or people are saying that they don't understand that it's not like a McDonald's. It's not a place you just pop food, or a burger place you can make a burger in 2 minutes, 4 minutes, or.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you couldn't cook it in 4 or 5 hours if you wanted to.
Do you guys travel around and eat barbecue elsewhere, or do you guys just stick to your...
Every restaurant that we pass, any barbecue restaurant, we stop and we just try it just to see. You know, we like to see what the competition is and see what the difference in different kinds of barbecue is. So every one, we always stop and try it out.
Yeah, I get to try a whole lot more than she does because I travel a whole lot more. And I'll buy and sell four-wheelers just messing on the side. I love mechanicking on stuff. And like me and my wife went to Simpsonville last night, and I bought a four-wheeler, and I'll bring it back, do a little bit of work to it, and sell it, make a little money. And
oh, that's neat. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay within 4 to 5 hours from the house, but I have to eat all kinds of places. And what's really cool about it is my mom's like, put it on the company credit card and you can try it and see what they got, see if we're missing anything. So I get to I get to eat for free, number one, and then on top of that, I get to try a new restaurant out and see how the barbecue is.
What do you think about people that do whole hog? Is that something you guys?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I want to do it here so bad. That's one thing that I want to do. I've cooked meat and I've done all that. I've done it all, but I've never done a hog, and I would love to do that.
A little intimidating to me, at least.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it'd be bad at all. Of course, I've cooked for a long time, but I want brisket's my thing. I love brisket. That's my favorite thing, and it's high, and we can't really make that much money off of it, which it took me it took me and Natalie forever to get my mom to add chicken tenders to the menu. I mean, and I was like, Mom, the kids got to have chicken tenders.
Yeah.
And we finally got those added on. But, I mean, my mom and my grandmother didn't want any change.
No. If somebody would come in and they wanted to do something different, no, she didn't care.
I don't care if it's going to take our French fries and sell them to her. Same brand, same delivery day, same time, $5 a case cheaper. She wouldn't do it. But she was old school. Like, she went with one food distributor and didn't check the prices with nobody else. And see, now I do all the ordering and stuff, and I've got Cisco, IFH, or Wells Performance Food Group now, and U.S. Foods.
I wonder if for all this time, a lot of old restaurants were getting, not taken advantage of, but it was because they were using the same distributor. They were saying, like, they could just kind of charge.
Absolutely.
They did. A lot of people didn't know. Like, back then, you couldn't go on the internet and check prices, and you didn't have. But until probably about 15 years ago, you really didn't have. Like, U.S. Foods was not near as big as it is. Nowhere near. And then Cisco wasn't either. It was a very small one. But Performance, which is U.S. Foods, has always been, IFH has always been the biggest distributor.
Did Cisco and U.S. Foods combine? Did they ever combine, or did they?
They still hadn't, because
they said that they were going to, and hearsay, but
I remember hearing something. Yeah.
I heard it for a long time, but I never seen anything go through or anything.
But what's it like working with your sibling?
Oh my! I love him with all my heart, but sometimes we're together too much. I know, I do love it, because we still get to see each other every day, and we still have that brother-sister rivalry going on sometimes. But
you can't get rid of that sometimes.
Yeah, it's good, because we got each other's back out here for sure. Like, somebody mouths off to her, I'll shut it down real quick.
I can see that.
I'm one of them guys that's too nice, to be honest with you. I mean, and I get run over sometimes because of that, because I don't want no confrontation. I want everybody to do their job, and man, I'm always nice helping people.
Well, you're in the right business for that, the customer service.
Yeah. I'll tell you what was really hard, though. When I came to work with my mom and then went home and lived with my mom. Oh. That's hard, because you're taking your home problems to work and your work problems home. I mean, that was hard. And I love my mama to death.
I love my mama too.
But
I could go home to her every night.
Hard. Oh, I mean, I could too. But it's nice to have
you did.
But I do love that bond, to have my mama here, my brother here. It's great to always be together. It really is.
And that's what makes it special. And that's what I think that's what really is. That says a lot. And that's another reason why I had to reach out to you guys, is because of the tradition and the family that you guys, and that you two are working together and preserving what your grandmother.
Absolutely. And if you come through that door, you're going to see my face, my brother's face, or my mother's face. One of us three are always here.
That's great.
Because nobody's going to treat your business like your own. It's just, nobody's going to love it like you do.
So now what? It's a counter plus seats on the side. Is that what I'm seeing? Is that, and then? Yes,
it is. So right when you walk in, we have a little L-shaped counter, and then we've got two booths in the corner, and then booths all the way going to the back.
What's the capacity, generally?
We I think it's 8 people at the counter, and then there's 23 tables.
I can't remember.
And there's 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 tables that sit 6, and then the rest of them seat 4.
So if you come in, is there a line, or can people?
Oh, sometimes. Oh, yeah.
Depends on the day and plus time of the year also.
Yeah.
But if you come in by yourself, like say you're traveling, you can come in get a seat at the counter generally.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
We've met some really amazing people. We've had a bunch of celebrities come in that we love, and that's been really cool. Billy Graham was actually a good friend of my grandmother and grandfather's.
Oh wow!
So I thought that is really amazing.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
And then the singer Patty Loveless.
Mm-hmm.
She's a country singer. She used to work here. Long time ago.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
She used to take her guitar to the backwood pile and go play the guitar and sing for everybody.
Oh, that's neat.
Yep.
And then Kyle Petty come in here with his girlfriend about
a year ago.
About 8 months ago, yeah.
And Vince Gill, I love my country singers.
Yeah.
Vince
Yeah,
Gill's
so do I.
coming in. And Andy McDowell, she comes to the counter a lot. She's the model, Maybelline. I think it's Maybelline.
I've heard the name. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, but she's beautiful. But she'll come and sit at the counter.
Now, what kind of wood are you guys cooking?
We try to use hickory and oak all the time, but of course we can't get that all the time. But most of it, I'd say 75 to 80% of it's hickory and oak. But I mean, every once in a while they'll get some other stuff mixed up in there. But like we try to stay away from cherry, and there's just a lot of stuff we try to stay away from. And like every once in a while we'll get other stuff, but I'm gonna say probably 85% of it's hickory and oak.
Are you going through a lot of wood?
Man, we burn a truckload to a truckload and a half every night.
You should see our wood pile. It's longer than our building.
That's 5 nights a week. We burn a truckload to a truckload and a half.
No, I've got to. I love wood piles. That's like a little thing that I love visiting them. So that's something when I visit you guys, I'm definitely want to come and film it and check it out. Like that's.
Oh yeah, it's really neat.
But you said a truck and a half every night?
Every night, a truck to a truck and a half, depending on. Of course, that's whether we're running like Tuesday night, Wednesday night. We'll only run usually one pit because we don't cook but about between 35 and 40 shoulders. If we cook any more than about 32, we have to run 2 pits.
Gotcha.
But because we can't get but about 30 to 32 depending on the shoulder size on one pit. But if we run 2 pits, it's a whole lot more.
So then eventually you're going to pass this down to your sons?
That's what I hope. I have a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old, and my 12-year-old loves it. He really, really does. But, he's so young. When I was 12, I told them I was going to do this, and this. So
yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm not going to force it on them, but I hope and pray that they do take it over.
Yeah, it would be neat to keep passing it down to both your families like it would be.
But see, it's always been ran by women, and then I didn't have girls. I had both boys, so I think that's going to be interesting, too.
Yeah, the changing of the guard.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm coming up on my 5-year anniversary, and I told my wife, I said, I love kids, man. I always have. And that's like my little nephews. I spoil them to death.
Oh, I'm sure.
Both of them said, I don't know how many 4-wheelers, motorcycles, and they still got them. Both of them's had a side-by-side. And
I don't have to buy them anything like that. I know Unks will do it.
I told my wife, she don't give me a kid for long, I'm trading her in.
Yeah, so that way you have like a little brood of kids that are helping out cleaning up and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Put them to work early. Now, my oldest, he will help me. If I'm in a bind, he'll come to the counter and make some teas and clean some tables and all that good stuff.
Some sweet tea?
Yes, that's right.
That's excellent. Well, thank you guys so much. This has been so interesting and so I love the two of you guys have such energy and passion in it, and the history is phenomenal. Like I cannot wait to visit. So how far away are you from the big cities?
Well, Charlotte's about an hour from us.
Okay.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, Charlotte's only about 35 to 40 minutes, depending on where you're going.
Okay.
We ain't race car drivers like him. It's an hour.
You can get to the airport in 30 minutes.
Okay.
And that's on Billy Graham. So, but you can get downtown in about 40 to 45.
Going 75
or? Is about an hour and 10 minutes if you go downtown to Asheville.
Okay.
But, we're dead in the middle, and if you go to Charlotte or you go to the mountains from anywhere over that way in Charlotte, that way you're going to pass us on 74.
Are there some interesting places to stay up there too? Like if people came by, like would there be are there any hotels up there, or are you
talking about Asheville or?
Asheville has a beautiful hotel, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, they got a bunch of them. I really like Asheville. It's really laid back, and
they have the Grove Park Inn, which I love.
Yeah,
me and my mama love to go.
It's nice.
Well, you guys have a great week. Thank you. I'm so happy I spoke with you guys. I'm so glad we got this together.
Us too, and thank goodness we finally got together after trying for a long time.
That's good. We're tenacious. That's a good quality.
Yeah, we appreciate it also.
And we'll be in touch. Let me know when you get something going on.
All right, take care. Nice to meet you.